For me, becoming a teacher was actually a kind of natural evolution. It was just a kind of space that I found that I really loved being in, and as opportunities arose, I kind of took them and I became a full-time lecturer. It was more of an evolution into doing a thing that I really love doing. I've been very, very lucky in my career in that I've been able to do a thing that I love. So teaching and working with students is a thing that I love, and design is a thing that I love. So being able to do both of those together is sort of like really wonderful. Because I've been in this space, it's fun. And for me to be excited about something, it needs to be fun and it needs to be entertaining. But I think if people are having fun, if people are relaxed, then they are more likely to want to play. And I think play for me is a really, really important way to understand design. You've got to be able to play with things. So you've got to have, a problem, a situation, an issue that you are trying to solve. And if you don't get the opportunity to play with it, I don't think that I would come up with a particularly innovative or interesting or creative way of, resolving the problem. And I think that the laughter and the fun in a classroom for me is important, because it indicates that people are in a state of mind that they could start to play, that they feel relaxed enough, that the play becomes the thing that they're interested in as much as getting the mark at the end. A lot of the work that I do with students is to try and create the atmosphere and the space in which they feel relaxed enough to, for a little while, forget about the idea of marks. I think the biggest challenge that I encounter with students is they don't really know why they're here. So a lot of students come out of school straight to university because it's the thing that you do. So that's the one big challenge. So students aren't necessarily here because they really, really want to do the thing that we're teaching them. And then the challenge becomes, as well as teaching them stuff, you always are having to encourage them to want to do the thing that you're teaching them. I think that one of the things which is important for me to do with students is to get them to see that there are other ways of being and operating. And I think that that's one of the things which drives the way that I am as a lecturer, because I know that people think that I'm weird and unusual as a lecturer. But if they can see that there's a different way of being to be a lecturer, it doesn't have to be this kind of person or this kind of approach or this kind of way of being and interacting with people. If they can see that I can do that, then maybe they can also see that they can do that. They don't have to interact with people in particular ways because, the kind of rule is this is how you do this is how you do that, this is how you interact with people. So I think that's just in the way that I am, in the way that my being, I hope is a way of showing students that there are alternatives to what it is that the world is kind of throwing at you. Be able to operate in that kind of way, I think, is a way then that people can learn to be innovative and resilient and being able to change and become the person that they really, really want to be, and not what the world is telling them that they have to be, or their parents, or us as lecturers. You can be whatever you want to be. And I try and bring that into the way that I teach as well. You don't have to be this kind of graphic designer when you go out there. You can become a completely different kind of graphic designer. You can take the things, the type of person that you are, and you can go down a track which is going to develop into the kind of person that you want to be. I don't wear shoes. I hate shoes. Society tells me I must wear shoes. I go, why? I don't like shoes. I'm not going to wear shoes. And eventually they just go, well, that's Brian, he doesn't wear shoes, But it shows that you don't have to just be the kind of shoe-wearing, tie-wearing guy, because that's what academics are. By letting students into my life, personally into my life, means that they can challenge me intellectually. I've met so many people from so many walks of life which are so different to mine, and I can choose to just treat them as students over there, that I have a job to go, I need to teach you certain things and I need to test that you know them, and then by the end of it I can go, yeah, you've got this, you've passed, you can move on. Or what I can do is I can go, you have a bunch of things that I want for my path through life. I don't know what they are, but I recognize that you may have them. And for me to keep you at a distance there and go, well, this is the relationship that we have, means that my life is diminished by not allowing you to challenge and impact my life. Humanities, the word humanity, I mean, you'd expect people to be expressing their humanity, to be interacting with one another, because that's what we do as humans. So it started off with the coffee machine. I kind of feel bad about making myself a lovely cup of coffee, going into the lab or whatever with a cup of coffee, where everyone can smell it and I can enjoy it and nobody else can. So I think that's just rude, for one thing. So it started off with that, where, I invited people, come and grab a cup of coffee. Let's have a cup of coffee together, let's talk over a cup of coffee and discuss over a cup of coffee or whatever. So that's where it started. Then some students decided the one time that as well as the coffee, we needed a sweetie jar. So that bottle that's there was actually bought in by a student. And we all just started to contribute to the sweetie jar. When it was getting empty, someone would go and buy some more sweets and put them in. It is also a mechanism for interaction, I guess. And education for me is about interaction. It's not about the kind of standing in front of a class and going, this are the things that you have to know. There has to be that. I think it's because I tried to be real and tried to be a human and tried to see them first as humans, next as people, friends, and then students. So any friendship that I have, friendship that I have with a student, is bounded by the fact that I will need to then give them marks at some stage. They know this, and they know that they cannot use the friendship with me as a way to get better marks, because I feel sorry for them because they're friends of mine. In as much as they go, well, you're a friend of mine, you give me a horrible mark, and I go, you're a friend of mine, you give me horrible work. It goes both ways. There's sort of expectations in relationships, and there's boundaries in relationships. Well, maybe if you give students the freedom to be a friend, they understand. They're not stupid. And I think that's the other thing. You don't treat people just because they know less than you. They have less life experience. They're not stupid. They have, and I'm very well aware, in fact, that so many students, of my students anyway, are way more talented than I am. They have different life experiences that I can learn from. And to put this artificial lecturer-student boundary up there, which means that, certain things we do not cross this boundary, means that both of our lives, both of our educations, both of our, lifelong learning is jeopardized. Creating a kind of fun environment, being in a fun environment, is very important for me, because if I'm not in a fun environment, then I don't like being where I am, and I don't like operating and being in those kinds of environments. So part of creating this would be entirely selfish here. Part of creating those kinds of spaces is for myself, because that's the spaces that I like to be in and I like to operate in. And it's in those kinds of environments, of course, that you can then develop sort of more interesting relationships, more fulfilling relationships with people. I always think that if people are relaxed and having fun, it doesn't mean that they don't work hard. I think they're more likely to work hard. They're in a space that they like to be in, which is why we draw all over the walls, it becomes a space which is theirs. They're in a space that they like to be in. They're in a space which they feel some kind of ownership of and relationship to. They're more likely to want to be there. They're more likely to want to stay there when they're there and to work.
He's very understanding.
He treats us like adults, but still is super supportive. He's got a great balance.
According to me, he's one of the few people who are willing to be you can just go to my office anytime.
Yeah, he's very relatable, he's an empath, and he's very funny.
When we're in class, he's always cracking jokes.
He's very blunt in a way that feels like you've been recognized.
And I think it's something that a lot of people don't do in an academic space.
As professional as the relationship can be between student and lecturer, with him, it's easy to get to the grey line of being friends.
Without him acting like he's your lecturer and you have to treat him a certain kind of way.
I got a hug from Brian. He hugged me, and it was a very nice hug, because it's filled with warmth, it's filled with care and love.
He's literally the coolest lecturer here. according to me, though. I stand to be corrected, but thank you.